Sounds like you've got a lot going on, Claire said, scowling as if the complexities of human affairs were beyond her interest. But wouldn't this Tagawa person be someone connected to the dark forces? Whether she's doing it consciously or not is another story. She continued. Maybe she was trying to pull you over to their side, don't you think? Claire turned to Elandra, seeking a second opinion.
Hard to say,
Elandra replied thoughtfully.
However, if that were indeed the case, it would mean she didn't appear before Chris by mere coincidence. She would have sought her out with intent.
Hearing Erlandra's words, Chris crossed his arms, sinking deep into thought. Ms. Tagawa had been appointed as a substitute after Ms. Yoshida's sudden departure. Does that mean, Chris wondered, that Ms. Yoshida's abrupt illness and subsequent long-term medical leave were actually her doing? If Ms. Tagawa was indeed an agent of the dark forces, approaching him with the intent to recruit him to their side, then everything began to click into place. It would explain why she had manipulated Sana and Yuri, orchestrating the scheme to summon the Armeni.
Then, if it was Ms. Tagawa who summoned the demons and manipulated Sana and the others, and if she truly is linked to the dark forces, does that mean the two people who helped her are also connected to them?
Chris asked. Elandra lowered her gaze, falling into a brief, heavy silence.
The traces of what happened there have been erased,
she said, shaking her head slightly.
Not just their memories, but the very information of the space itself has been purged.
At those words, Chris and Sana exchanged a sharp look. If the information of the space had been wiped clean, there was no longer any room for doubt. The dark forces were involved. It meant that yesterday's incident contained something, some detail or truth that they found dangerous or inconvenient. Now, both of them were certain. Ms. Tagawa was one of them.
However, it is unlikely that the two who assisted Yuri with the summoning are actually connected to the dark forces.
Elandra continued.
They were likely just following orders for one reason or another. They probably won't cross your path again, so you needn't worry about them.
True, those two had fled in sheer terror at the mere sight of a demon. It was hard to imagine them ever taking orders from the mastermind again. Yet, a darker thought crossed Chris's mind. Because they had seen it, wouldn't they be silenced permanently to keep the secret? As if sensing his unease, Elandra spoke.
There is no need for such concern. As I mentioned, the memories of those two have almost certainly been wiped clean as well.
She explained.
They are safe, you can let it go.
It made sense. If they had the power to have a demon strip away a person's memories, there was no need for anything as crude as murder. In any case, Claire said, resting her hands on her hips. If the dark forces have truly begun to interfere in your world, we'd better make our moves sooner rather than later. Everything finally clicked for Chris. It was simple. Every one of these problems would be resolved once they gathered the remaining crystal elements and allowed the Earth to complete its ascension. Just as Chris steeled his resolve, Sana spoke up, her voice tinged with worry. But, what about Yuri? What should we do with her?
Oh, her? We're taking her with us.
Claire answered nonchalantly.
What, really? Why?
Chris asked, taken aback. Claire tilted her head, looking genuinely puzzled by his reaction.
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? She's a dragon contractor too. It's better that she comes along.
Are you serious?
Chris and Sana exclaimed in unison.
I am. She doesn't realize it yet, and she hasn't even met her partner, apparently.
Claire explained.
But the fact that she encountered us here like this means she's meant to come with us.
I see.
Sana murmured, her shoulders slumping slightly. Not only had Yuri secured a ticket to the subterranean city with baffling ease, but she also possessed a guardian dragon of her own. Sana felt a pang in her chest, a lonely, hollow sensation, as if she were the only one being left behind in the dust.
But is it really okay to take her along without even asking how she feels about it?
Chris asked, glancing at Yuri.
It'll be fine. I'm sure she'll be thrilled once she understands. Besides, I believe her guardian dragon wishes for this too.
Claire replied confidently.
Huh, I see.
Chris murmured, turning back to look at Yuri once more.
So, is her guardian dragon waiting in the subterranean world?
I couldn't say for sure,
Claire said with a casual shrug. Well, if even Elandra isn't raising any objections, then so be it, Chris thought. After all, no matter how much time passed over there, they would return to this world at almost the exact same moment they left. He looked up. The wall clock in the school building pointed to 3:50.
We're heading to the Tios first, right?
Chris asked, seeking confirmation. Claire gave a firm nod.
Yes, from the Tios, we'll board the Adamastor once more to reach the Haze city,
she explained.
In that case, would it be alright if I stopped by my house to pick up the Miracorn? I'd also like to bring Bibi along,
Chris added.
I don't mind,
Claire replied with another casual shrug.